Welcome back, viewers. Today I want to give you an update of what I've been up to with my message crawler application. I didn't want to make videos too often because, all I do is add this data source, add that data source, kind of boring, just same thing over and over. But in this version, I got some cool things that you may like. So switching over to computer screen and let's see what I got. So of course I added more data types to load and just super quickly to go over them. We got some LinkedIn, Trillion, RingCentral, and I'm also testing some Zendesk, which I'm not sure if that's going to be generic that everyone will be able to use, or the JSONs that I got a proprietary to somebody. But I got a few types here that I added. I also did a few little things like on Instagram. I split out media from messages because sometimes media comes out in a separate file, or you may want to process it separately. The other thing that is really cool here is Facebook posts and activities. All right, so what you'll be able to do is take these JSON files, right? Your posts and comments and groups.json, your posts and so on. So you'll be able to take those JSON files and load them into the grid of message crawler. Now, they will not make a good RSMF file, so you probably shouldn't try to convert it. However, they will let you parse the content of those JSON files and see what different posts are, what people posted, what they said, what they commented, and then you can load that as either individual records, or you can export it all out into like an Excel file and then load the Excel file into Relativity or whatever system you use. So it's another way of working with Facebook data, right? It's not just messages, comments, and all this other fun stuff. Stories now could be part of it. So anyway, this is a tool that not necessarily going to make a good RSMF files, but will allow you to at least like load it and look at the data. All right, so that's as far as new file types. By the way, some of them are still in testing, so and the version number, don't look at that. This is like totally in development. Most of it probably going to be out by the time you see it, but if not, then don't be surprised. So those are kind of the more of a boring thing. So here's what I did that's kind of cool. And this is going to be in data tools. First, okay, so I moved import cross-reference file, right? It used to be here. I moved it here just because it's not really a data source. It's a, just a loading cross-reference file. By the way, if you need to do overlays that you used to do in concordance, you can do them here with this tool. It's really cool. All right, so download hyperlinks. What you can do here is if you have a field, like an attachment URL or something like that, you can point to that field and download a file that's referenced by that hyperlink. So it's really cool for like Trillion or something else, or maybe you have just like a DAT file with URLs. You can load it. You can pick your control number, so that's how it's going to name the file, your hyperlink, what field to update with path, where to save it to, and all that stuff. And if there's an error, where to log the error to. And it's going to go through, it's going to follow that link to the internet, download the file, save it, try to figure out what it is, whether it's a JPEG, PNG, GIF, or something like that, rename it to a proper extension, and then give you a path to it. So then you'll be able to use that to map that path in the path area here and generate RSMF file. I was able to download stuff using like Slack and other tools, but this is sort of a standalone independent tool. It's not tied into any particular data source. If you have URL, you can download it. Next thing, this is something I'm working on, may take a week or so, but I call it split conversation by quiet time. I hope I spelled quiet right. I think that's how it is. I'm terrible at spelling. So the idea here is, you don't necessarily want to break conversation by 24 hours. So this is what people are telling me. Like sometimes it doesn't make sense because people could be having conversation from 8 p.m. until 1 a.m. And that makes it into a good conversation. But when you split by 24 hours, you're going to take anything that's was said at 1 a.m. and split it out to a separate file. I don't think it's a big deal, but some people said, well, it'll look nicer if we could capture all that together. So how do you do that? The way I'm thinking we can do it is by figuring out times when people are not talking to each other. And so whenever we reach certain time limit of there are no messages between people, well, that's when we can start a new conversation. And the way this tool works is you pick a sort date. I don't have a sort date here, so I'll just pick a timestamp, but don't pick a timestamp. Pick a proper, instructions are here, proper sort date that's applied to parent and children, and pick your time interval. When do you want to start a new conversation? So I just have 3 hours for now. Maybe it'll be 8 hours, like an overnight kind of thing. And this will scan down and it's going to check one message to the next. What is the time difference? If the time difference is more than number of hours specified here, it'll trigger a new RSMF file. It'll create a new conversation. I think this will be pretty cool. I hear other software packages do that. I never seen it. I just heard about it. So this is my take on it, and this is how I would do it. So again, you need to pre-sort your data ahead of time, have sort date apply to all the attachments, and then this will scan down and it'll split up by what I call quiet time. Maybe I'll rename this. I'm not sure if this is the best name for it. All right, one more tool, and this is an update to format date tool. Okay, here's what people told me, is when they get data from multiple phones or from multiple sources, sometimes the seconds information isn't exact, or maybe it was sent and received. I'm not entirely sure, but sometimes when you get data, the seconds information is a little bit off by 1 second or by 2 seconds. So what we can do here is pick a field. So whenever we create a field, we can round it to a nearest minute, and we can round it up, down, or to the nearest. What this will allow you to do is use the deduplication tool to deduplicate your data based on time. I just made it. I don't know how useful it's going to be. I think it's going to be useful. This is what people are saying, like, look, the seconds situation is really screwing me up. I need to deduplicate by the message body as well as time. And having two messages within the same minute with the same content, probably not a big deal, right? It's not going to dedupe out, or if it will, then so what? Somebody said it twice, right? So I think this is a cool addition, and this will allow you to deduplicate your text messages better. All right, that's the update for Message Crawler version 4 something. I'm not sure what that they're going to be. As I test them, I'll probably increment the version number. But that's what I got so far. Hope you found it interesting. Thank you for checking it out, and I will see you later.